opinions and views of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
Magandang gabi Pilipinas, maayong gabi sa Tibok Mindanao, Visayas, ug sa Luzon. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Ito po inyong Republika, ako si Erik Espina. Alam niyo po ay napapanahon itong ating pag-uusapan dahil may kinalaman ito sa cybercrimes. Alamin po natin ano po ang mga lituntunin at paano po tayo nagkakaroon o nakakagawa ng mga paglabag sa batas alinsunod dito sa cybercrime. Kailan ba nangyayari itong cybersex? Kung yari, isang OFW nakipag-usap sa kanyang boyfriend sa Amerika at biglang nagpakita siya ng kung ano-ano, yung ba covered na ba bilang cybersex? Kailangan malaman po natin yan. Kaya pag-uusapan din natin yung issue po sa libel kasi marami pong mga nasa media, nasa ating mga pahayagan, medyo hindi po makaupo ng matino sa kanilang mga silya dahil mukhang lumalampas po ang issue ng libel dun sa tamang pagkakaunawa ng kung ano talaga ang libel. Kaya marapat lamang po na isang abogado at isang media man ang ating inimbitahan. Una natin pakilala muna ang publisher ng opinion, isa pong kilalang tukayo natin, si Erick San Juan. Kaya huwag niyong kalilimutan itong ang pahayagang opinion. Ayan, ito ngayon ang headlines dyan. Ayan, Naku, matitindi yung mga headlines mo, partner, ano? Talagang kailangan hanapin, ano? Kasi para mabasa, no? And of course, very familiar face. Talagang kilalang abogado o abogada. Siya po ang senior partner ng Kapunan, Garcia and Castillo Law Offices. Walang iba kundi si Attorney Lorna Kapunan. Good evening to both of you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay. Parehong Eric, no? Napapanahon ba itong bagong batas tinatawag nating cybercrime? Should it have been passed a long time ago or this was too hurriedly passed based on your just random reading of the provisions?
Siguro pwede sabihin yes and no, no? Kasi pag binasa naman natin itong Republic Act 101751, ang nangyayari dito, it just strengthens the provisions of the revised penal code. So it could be that along the way, na-revise na yung important provisions ng penal code. Instead of waiting for a cybercrime code or act that confuses everybody. Kasi although good intention, nakikita naman natin na may good intention ito.
Yes.
Maraming, sa palagay ko, unconstitutional provisions.
Unconstitutional,
Yes. Ito, for instance, it changes, I'm sorry, Eric.
Sige, go ahead.
Sige, sige.
It changes the whole concept of libel, for instance. Ang libel, klarong-klaro naman sa revised penal code, no? Although it could have been amended to expand the meaning of publication. Kasi nung ginawa yung revised penal code laws on libel, ang publication lang is paper.
Oh, yes, yes.
Is paper, publication. So anything that is published and circulated to the public.
Electronic publication
Wala
na
pang electronic
Yes,
publication. So, that could simply have been amended by saying publication shall now cover all modern means of communication. Or social networking, etc., 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 which would have been simple enough. And then don't change jurisdiction provisions. Kasi essential, especially this is a criminal law.
Yes, yes.
Essential to criminal law is the place where you commit the offense.
Yes, correct.
Otherwise, if you were, for instance, a congressman,
May-
at may kalabang ka,
Magiging forum shopping ang mangyayari sa'yo dito. O
Hindi lang yun.
pipiliin mo kung saan mo ipa-file yung kaso mo.
hindi lang yun, sir.
Para malakas ang
Pipiliin
piskal
mo,
o sa judge.
Tama. Kung
Oo
taga
naman.
Batangas ka, di i-file mo sa Batangas.
Oo nga.
Hindi ba, miski na the crime was committed here. Ngayon, sa cybercrime na ito,
Oo.
sa libel under this cybercrime statute,
Oo.
parang hindi mo alam kung
Saan mo nga
saan.
ipa-file?
Like for instance, would you even know? Meron akong kaso ngayon, I will not know, I will not mention kung sino.
Oo.
This is the first case where we filed a violation of the domestic violence law.
Okay.
Okay, famous personalities. Siguro magigess nila kung sino.
Oo.
Merong naglagay sa social media, sa twittering,
Oo.
na nabuntis niya ang
Okay.
isang artista na hindi naman totoo.
Okay.
Okay, where do you file?
Oo.
Kung ang taong yan, sinasabi niya wala siya sa Pilipinas, nasa New York.
Okay.
Di ba?
Tama
And
si Mo.
even if you were able to get, nakakuha kami ng TPO, Temporary Protection Order.
Okay.
Kasi ang domestic violence, dapat malaman ng audience natin, hindi na yan yung concept ng physical violence.
Yes, yes.
May psychological,
May
may
emotional,
emotional, may-
Financial.
Ngayon, yung failure to give support is economic.
Yes, yes.
So, ang finailan namin yung psychological because this person kept twittering na, tomorrow I will put in the social media yung picture natin na nag-ek-ek-ek-ek.
He's been twittering or
Meron
twistering.
kaming TPO,
Okay.
Temporary Protection Order. Where the hell will I serve it?
Yes.
I will serve it through Twitter?
Oo.
Ganun din? Twitter, you are being here, served here. Ganyan,
Sure.
ganyan dito.
Yes.
So, and if you translate it to our libel laws, who will you sue? Google Inc., Yahoo
Yes,
Inc.,
correct.
Twitter Inc., who will you sue? Because nakalagay dito sa cybercrime provision.
Hindi pwede ang representatives ng Google dito?
How will you know? How will you know? That's why napaka-complicated yung linalagay nila na tinatawag na traffic data.
Ibig mo sabihin parang hilaw itong batas na ito. Hindi masyadong nahimay, hindi masyadong napag-aralan. Parang may mga kulang pa.
Kulang.
Oo, that is why, not only that, no?
Oo.
Tignan natin yung basis ng libel laws natin.
Oo.
What is the purpose of our libel laws? The purpose of our libel laws, that is why it is a crime against person, is to protect the integrity, the honest reputation, the goodwill of a person.
Correct.
Iba ang cybercrime dito. It is to protect the integrity of the information and the communication. Where is the person here?
Oo. Nakalimutan
Also,
na, no?
Nakalimutan na. Yung ang pinakamabigat dito sa declaration of policy is it recognizes the vital role of information and communications. And although it is a very long paragraph on the declaration of policy, wala kang makikitang
Personality.
in the integrity of the person. Wala kang makikita yung more important, yung pinaglalaban ng media natin na Freedom of Information Act.
Okay.
Wala dito
Wala.
yung protection of freedom of the press and the media.
May mga nagsasabi, ewan ko kaya kung totoo ito, minadali ito ng ibang politiko para lang daw matigil yung mga banat sa kanya.
Banat sa kanila. Correct.
Sabi nila,
Tama yun.
tawag nito infosphere na kasi ito eh. So, could that be the reason?
Yeah, but in the balancing of interest, what is more important? I mean, what is,
Yes, of course.
di ba?
Oo.
Kung kailangan banatan yung mga congressman, public officials na yan, why are you going to restrain the media
Correct.
from honest criticism
Correct.
with a justifiable motive of informing the public by a cybercrime that is too restrictive?
Correct, correct.
So
Oo.
pag nakalagay na niya dyan sa pwede mo nang habulin. So who will Twitter now?
So, you're saying, attorney, hindi natin alam sinong court ang may jurisdiction dito? You don't know where you're going to file this?
No, because it says here,
Have you tried the filing it on some court and testing it?
Kasi because you don't know the source. You can get
So, i-dismiss lang na korte
No,
mag-
anong Yahoo address mo? Anybody can get a Yahoo
Yes,
address,
yes, yes.
di ba? Pati ito, domain name. I can file for let's not use San Miguel, no, because nobody can use San Miguel or Coca-Cola. But I can file for the name, a domain name,
Oh, yes, yes.
and make my address the domain name. Who will they sue? They will sue a domain name. Where is that house? Tapos, hindi mo alam kung nasa New York, hindi mo alam. So, ang that's why it is necessary to even create an international body. Can you imagine that? Sino ang advisor natin dito? Ang Homeland Security ng United States?
Yun na nga,
Di ba?
lumalabas dyan.
Tapos, nakakapagtaka naman na napakarami nating needs, no? Na
Ito
kailangan ng automatic appropriation. Ang
Okay.
alam ko, ang payment of national debt may automatic
Yes,
appropriation
correct.
yan.
Oo.
Ito, this is the second bill I know that has
May automatic rin.
every year. Parang yung RH bill natin.
Bakit? Why do you suspect that there is an automatic appropriations for this?
I
right
think
away?
there is an unseen hand that's moving this legislation. Because I haven't compared it yet, no? But I am sure that it may have been lifted from some template legislation. Because ang sinisafeguard dito, yung integrity ng computer, so protecting software interests, yung integrity ng information, security, protecting against terrorists, yung integrity ng... So, where is the national interest here?
Tama yun.
Diba?
Ito kayo, no? Media tayo. Paano na tayo nito? Di ba originally may planos ang libel gawing i-decriminalize, ano?
No.
Dito lalong tumitindi.
Yan na nga naging problema eh.
Oo.
Just like me, meron akong blog.
Oo.
Ha? Pero
Meron ka bang column?
may column pa ako.
Oo.
Meron tayong radio, meron tayong TV.
Talagang mahahagip ka talaga.
Mayari tayo kung hindi natin eh. Kaya dapat talaga linawin ng Congress itong issue na to. Dahil very clear na meron nagmamanipulate nito. May template, tama yung sinasabi ni attorney eh. May template ito na meron sila lahat na nagdidikta na walang nalaintindihan itong ating local operation dito. So dapat ay maliwanagan at huwag nating i-pattern doon sa pinaka-mother organization. Kasi very clear na they want to control everything. At at the same time, peperahan tayo nang wala tayong kalaban-laban eh.
Parang ito ang bilis nitong nakalusot, ano? Na parang hindi masyadong napansin. Ano? Lahat nakatutok sa FOI, biglang ito, biglang musbong, no?
Just like RS Bill, merong lobby money.
Okay.
Behind the scene.
Oo.
Ito ganyan din to. Dahil meron nga pinoprotektahan yung mga softwares, mga corporation, internet service, etc. So
Palagay ko, malalibel na tayo dito, partner. Kasi enacted into law na September 12.
I don't mind. Dahil yun naman totoo, attorney.
So, who will clarify this? Hindi na pwedeng ang Kongreso at Senado. This is now, batas na ito, so nasa korte na ito.
Pero hilaw eh. Kahit
Tapos ang interpretation nito, nasa court, Supreme Court na ito. Court of Appeals.
Meron authority to come out with rules and regulations, no?
Ang
So,
DOJ.
ang DOJ.
DOJ.
Ang enforcement at ang enforcement provision dito, NBI at PNP.
Yes.
Na parang mga prosecutorial, no?
Yes.
But then it goes to the DOJ for review and monitoring.
Should the DOJ come up with an IRR? O mahihirapan sila maglabas ng IRR? Yan ang tanong dyan.
Yan ang may tanong.
Diba?
Totoo.
In fact, meron dito sa batas na to is that the DOJ is required to create a special office within a DOJ precisely only for cyber offenses.
Okay.
So, talagang malaki ang binibigay na importance sa
Tapos yung
statute
prior
na
restraint
to.
nito, paano pa yung prior restraint nito?
Mahirap ng prior restraint. Kasi, how do you monitor? It is good intention, but it is difficult to monitor.
Can
Once it
DOJ
is out.
monitor all the traffic that goes on into the internet and the social...
Yung backlog lang ng
social
mga
networking
cases eh,
sites?
laki-laki na hindi na maasikat.
Drug trafficking nga, ang hirap-hirap. Cyber trafficking
O
pa.
kaya nga,
Cyber
tapos...
pa.
Sex trafficking
Oo,
pa.
tapos we're going to lump this in one agency and then, when you interview them, at the end of the day, they will say, we don't have enough personnel, we don't have enough budget to do this. Kaya, these people nakakalusot ito. Ganun na magiging rason nito eh.
Correct.
Oh. So malaki ang pagkukulang nitong batas na ito.
Siguro, yung pinakamaganda dyan, gawa sila ng agency just like what they did sa patent. Tingnan mo yung nangyayari dahil nga sa sobrang dami mga
intellectual
replica.
Oo.
So, yung IPR talagang pinokos nila dun eh.
Pero
Diba?
ito, tatanong ko sa iyo, Tokayo, no?
Oo.
Was the internet meant to be owned by anybody? Or it's supposed to be a free flow of...
Free flow.
It is like a river. Nobody can
Correct.
own it.
Correct.
No? And
You're right.
it's a free flow of everything and anything, no?
Not even Google or
Yeah, and so
Yahoo.
nobody can own it.
Kasi iba-ibang grouping siya na nagsama-sama lang into one eh. Kaya
Oo.
na-create yan eh.
Oo.
Plus the help of the governments, big governments. Kaya na-implement yung internet, cyberspace.
Attorney Kapunan, may
That's right.
alam ba kayo na ibang bansa din na merong ganitong similar law that was passed covering libel as well? Sa ibang bansa? Meron bang mga ganon? May mga naipasa bang ibang mga kongreso, ibang mga parliaments regarding libel
No, as
cases?
a matter of fact, I don't know any particular country. But in terms of legislation,
Yes.
legislation that I know of increasingly has been to strengthen the
Okay.
freedom of speech, the
Okay.
freedom of press,
Okay.
the freedom of expression, the freedom of association.
Yeah.
Because regardless of the passage of legislation,
Oo.
at core to all of this legislation is our constitutional rights.
Yes, yes. Oo.
Where is the Constitution in all of this?
Mm.
Where is the Constitution in information and communication? Paano na nga yung, or association, no? In freedom of association. Sabi mo nga, cybersex, no?
Oo.
Cybersex in the cyberspace.
Yes.
May exceptions yan eh.
Okay.
So, ang exception dyan is, it must be for favor
Favor, consideration.
or consideration.
Yes. Oo.
But if it is with the consent
Or
Yes.
mutual.
or mutual,
Mutual.
Oo.
you have two consenting adults. I mean,
Consenting adults.
they do cybersex, and it gets released. I
Fulfillment.
mean, of course, that's
Even the issue of ewan ko tinawag nila cybersex kasi pag cybersex it's a little bit the issue
Literal eh.
parang magulo ng siguro pag sinabi nilang what do you think of cyber prostitution? Parang medyo may ngipin para mas maintindihan yung definition. Pero pag sinabi mong cybersex for favor or consideration, 'di ba? How do you define that? Yun nga sinasabi ko for one simple example sa mga probinsya. Alam mo naman, maraming Pilipina nga naghahanap ng mga boyfriend sa abroad, mga foreigners. Nagkakaroon ng they become intimate, they become boyfriends, girlfriends
Virtual,
in the virtual world.
Mm.
They have sex. And then it also happens na yung babae humihingi ng padalhan mo yung ganito kasi si nanay ganito. What is that? Is cybersex being committed? And who will enforce it?
Di nga klaro.
Who will file a case against these two individuals? So, will it be the
Ang
foreigner?
daming clause talaga ng...
Pupunta ba dito yung foreigner at sasabihin, eto, pinirahan ako. This girl engaged in cybersex. Is that what we're trying to do to our women? I mean, I'm just asking questions. So.
then the difficulty of enforcement
Oo.
also is related to the difficulty of jurisdiction.
Okay.
Let's say pedophile in Australia.
Okay.
May online yan eh, and
Oh.
I've had the misfortune of being consulted
Oo.
on cybercrime.
Okay.
This was solicitation.
Mm.
You know, not only are we number one in terms of pedophiles, no, we're number one in terms of sex with animals or
Tayo?
torture.
Wow. Meron pala niyan.
Tayo?
Torture of animals.
Okay. That's
Cruelty
scary.
to animals. Kala ko yung...
Cruelty to animals. Okay.
No, and it's called crush. When the people, certain people who are sex deviants,
Okay.
get
This is called bestiality or...
no, they get a physical high
Okay.
from seeing animals
Being killed.
crushed.
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 Yung parang
Like-
tinatapakan, na-feature yan dati sa TV.
Yes, of course. So you have minors who are in skimpy
Okay,
in
and then...
skimpy clothes and then
Okay.
high heels, crushing the eyes of a dog, or crush.
Masochism.
Yeah, no.
This
they
is
get a high.
deviant.
Okay,
ano,
Deviant.
so in that example, there is a menu.
Okay.
You name the age of the person,
Oo.
the age of you want a boy, you want a girl.
Okay.
You name the age. You name the animal.
Okay.
It's a whole menu.
Wow.
As a matter of
Parang mail order ito.
yes.
It's like a mail order.
So, okay.
Oo.
So we filed the case. I assisted. We filed the case. Sadly, the offender was in Ilocos.
Okay.
So we filed the offense in Ilocos. Nung na-file na yung case, nawala yung offender, lumipat ng kung saan-saan.
Okay.
So what do? We no longer have, plus, how do you get the Australian
Okay.
who solicited? Or the one who, the offender who ordered from the menu? May menu yan.
May menu, yes.
Okay.
Oo.
Do you bring him to Ilocos? Do you bring him to... And then, the child there is not an offender. The child is a victim. So, to me, that situation could have been solved, not by this.
Okay.
It could simply have been solved by amending yung tinatawag na Republic Act 7610 for the protection of children and anti-pornography.
Yes.
By defining now what pornography is, by defining the sexual offense, which includes crush videos, and by increasing the penalty. Then we didn't have to go through all of this.
Tama yun.
Diba? So, by trying to solve a problem in space, cyberspace
They're trying to
overnight,
reinvent the wheel again.
we may have been caught in our passion to do this so fast, so soon. So I'm sure certain provisions here will be questioned. Already, I read in a column that it will be questioned on issue of constitutionality.
Okay. Doon sa, you mentioned a while ago off camera regarding libel. In fact, there was a move to decriminalize it.
Yes, because ang nangyayari dyan, ginagamit ang Supreme Court, ginagamit ang legal justice system natin to collect. Di ba? Magpa-file ka ng libel case, gusto mo mag-collect ng damages, wag na nating lokohin ang justice system natin. Gusto mo lang mangolekta ng pera. Di pag-file ka ng civil case.
Correct.
Tama.
Di ba?
Tama.
Why bother our justice system,
Correct.
which is already very clogged? We have detention prisoners.
Yes.
Di ba? We have sensational cases that the courts cannot pay attention to because there's literally so many cases on libel because our media is getting more vigilant against public
and
officials.
the cybercrime has increased the penalties.
By 1 degree. It has increased libel penalties by 1 degree. In fact, everything is increased by 1 degree. Which is ironic because although tinaasan mo yung penalty, pinahirapan mo naman yung how do you bring these offenders to justice? Kasi complicated. Remember,
Too complicated na.
matagal na tayo may e-commerce law, hindi ba?
Correct.
Hanggang ngayon, di pa natin naintindihan yung e-commerce law na yan. For us lawyers, how do you even present evidence on cybercrime? What do? You bring the offending video there? I don't even know where the offender is. In my example, I'm sure some of the people watching know who this person is. In my example, even if we tried to produce the tweet in court, how do you even present? I mark this. Linuloko ko
How can it be marked as evidence?
Kanya nga, linuloko ko nga yung abogado ko
How can
kasi
you mark it as evidence?
pinakita,
May questionin ka.
pinakita ng abogado ko, yung abogado ng kabila, na yung kliyente niya nawala naman sa Pilipinas kasi meron siyang message that showed that he came from New York.
Okay.
How do I mark that in evidence?
Yes.
So I got his phone and said, I'd like to mark this phone as, siyempre nag-object. Teka, phone niya ng asawa ko. So how do you mark Twitter in evidence?
Yes.
Diba? You will bring the computer and mark it? Or do you bring, so it changes the rules on jurisdiction, it changes the rules on evidence.
It changes everything.
It changes everything. So sana, well, we wish whoever will make the rules and regulations, no?
Which
and
is
I'm
DOJ.
sure Justice Secretary De Lima is very competent, but
Yes. Okay siya.
but maybe basahin na muna natin to because the
Question is,
Supreme Court, you will also clog the Supreme Court.
Okay,
in terms of
I'll leave you with these
interpretation.
questions before we pause for a break. In the process of creating the IRR, will it be a faithful, how would I say it, crafting of the intention of the law, or will it be legislation in one sense? In the implementation. And Tokayo, hindi ka ba natatakot kayo nito? Kasi sa mga vlogs mo, o pag nag-Twitter ka, if you express an opinion and you agree with the negative or the criticisms,
Oo.
kasama ka rin sa kaso.
Kasama na.
Sa pagbabalik po ng Republika.